Hello everyone, my name is Mariella Herberstein. I'm the Chair of Academic Senate, and in this short video blog, I shall be summarizing the top 5 topics that were discussed at the May Senate meeting. The full agenda of this meeting is available on the Academic Senate website. The URL is below. Like in previous meetings, we ran the Senate meeting via Zoom, and we used a flipped classroom approach where we pre-recorded the presentations for some of the papers in the agenda, and that allowed us, and the senators were watching these pre-recordings prior to the meeting, and this allowed us to focus the meeting itself only on questions and discussions about the presentation. So, number one topic for the May Senate meeting was the student-led business. Not surprisingly, we had a number of questions from our student members, many of them related to, of course, COVID-19 situation. So what we discussed were the student support package. The student senators provided positive feedback on the package and asked for information on the take-up and acceptance of the package. And the executive director, student engagement and registrar, Gail White, provided some statistics. And for the most recent data, please visit the URL below. And as the impact of COVID-19 continues, so does the support, and it is still not too late for students to make an application. Secondly, we discussed feedback from students that were keen to catch up on face-to-face activities for units in first semester that were completely online, and the Pro-Vice Chancellor Programs and Pathways, Professor Sean Brawley, provided an overview of the plans for the forthcoming study periods, and in terms of providing face-to-face opportunity, and this is of course an ongoing development. We received feedback from our student senators on assessment format changes, specifically the changes of moving assessments that were previously allocated to within tutorial participation to outside tutorials. And finally, we discussed a student question on the changes in delivery modes for courses that had a clinical placement, and we discussed that the university benchmarked its response with that of other institutions and guidance from the relevant accreditation and registration bodies. I'd just like to remind everyone that this blog reports the May meeting, and of course in the meantime lots of things have happened, and I encourage you to visit the COVID-19 University website for the most recent update. So topic number 2 was a summary of the responses to COVID-19. We had at the meeting, we ratified a number of those responses. In particular, we ratified a special circumstances grade that will be awarded to students who failed a unit during the semester 1 COVID-19 period. We also had a presentation on the utilization of alternative English language tests for entry both to coursework and HDR programs, and we approved those for use during the pandemic. And finally, we ratified an introduction to a number of short courses for the inclusion in the federal government's higher education relief package. Topic number 3 of the May Senate meeting was an approval of our response to the Senate external review, as well as the review of the Senate composition. These two projects represent the final report to Senate for approval. First of all, the response to the external review. We accepted all recommendations from the external reviewers and had a number of minor amendments to some of the recommendations. For the amendment to the composition of academic senate, which is a result of the disestablishment of the Faculty of Human Sciences. We ratified or recommended the following changes to increase the number of ex officio members, to maintain the balance with the elected staff members, to standardize the representatives from the elected staff members to 3 members per faculty, and to increase the elected student membership to include an international student representative. We also noted an update on a pilot that we're currently running to include a sessional staff representative on Senate, and this pilot will conclude later in the year. Topic number 5 is the approval of the inherent requirement statement. Senate is currently undertaking the review of the general coursework rules, and in that review was noted that the inherent requirements framework existed outside of a policy framework, which does present some challenges to its implementation. And so the solution that was put forward, not just to the committees of Senate, but also to academic Senate, was to convert the framework to a statement, and the statement is then attached to the admissions or coursework policy. This change didn't affect the scope or the content of the inherent requirements, but it places the requirements in a more effective location. And topic number 5 was a welcome to new members of Senate. We first welcomed Professor Leonie Tickle, the interim executive dean for the Macquarie Business School. Professor Thomas Fath is the academic staff representative for the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Human Sciences, who is filling a casual vacancy that arose in the elected position. And Ku Abuali, who was co-opted as a postgraduate coursework student. And we very much look forward to work with these new members. Those are the top 5 topics for Senate. Our next meeting will be on July 21st. If you would like to join the meeting, please let us know by email so that we can send you the Zoom details. That's it from me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.